y'all? How y'all doing? Want to touch on a few things, a little few points. One of them is how innocence is energy, or how energy is innocence. So like that's why you don't like judge any gesture, because it's just that gesture is it is what it is, because everything is simply energy. So like with that being known, a simpler way to put it, but besides energy being innocent, and with energy being innocent, every individual's gesture is simply energy, emotion. Now, a perceived flow of that energy and emotion probably be like your interpretation of where you think it may be going based off your perspective. But overall, the energy is just going wherever it's flowing to, and it has nothing to do with you and your point of view. You know what I mean? And I was trying to, like, I heard everything I was saying, of course, because I'm saying it, but I was trying to make it, clear for anybody who hears this, and make, those things make be very vaguely speaking. So, like, let me say it in like a simpler form, or like an easier processing way. Like, basically, another's actions has nothing to do with you, and it just shows how energy is air. And I was just saying how energy is innocence, and and with that being known, you wouldn't get lost in criticizing another's actions, because with criticizing that person's actions, you're perceiving that show, because you think that's the flow of that show, but it's only your perspective and your your reference point towards that. But there go the innocence of not judging yourself, because your observation is just you making a reference point towards an observation. So that's why, like, I read yesterday, it was very powerful. It's like my fourth time reading this chapter, because I read the book before. I got through half of the book, and then I started reading another book. But now I'm reading this book again. But it's been very slow, because I read every chapter twice. But this chapter, particular chapter, I'm reading the 3 times now. Last night was the 3rd time. And I was like, I only had 2 pages left last night, but I wanted to be raw. Like I was getting drowsy. So it's gonna be my 4th night reading this chapter, right? And one thing I've processed, what they were saying the whole time, is basically like what was it? Oh yeah. Yeah, in so many words, you basically you learn all of this stuff, but you also learn how to forget these things too. Like I think it said something like a good teacher also learns how to knows when to let go of his master's teachings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't hold on to the same doctrines forever, because paradigms shift, and if you stuck in a certain philosophy and times are changing, then you may be going through the motions, because you're not moving with the emotions. See what I'm saying? See how all of these things be inside of themselves. But there's another point I had also. Oh, I heard racism, right? How it's like, black and white. So just simply just different point of views, right? So I feel like they're not the esoteric, but like a fat example of what racism like represents is like simply just resonating fields, and not only resonating fields, but let me see, because like the color of your skin is something you don't have a choice of. And I was saying resonating fields because racism is just opposing parties due to one party not being what another party is. You know what I mean? And it's just like different sides of things. But anyway, that's racism is very symbolic, because it just shows how everybody is racist. And that's how I got to that point, making that point, because I was saying how people are so racist to each other. Basically, and this is what got me to the whole point of the video, right? Excuse me. So I was saying, a child may look like, why you looking in my face? So what brought me to this conclusion, I was driving by at work, and something that annoys me is like, they don't mean nothing by it. That's why I'm saying all of this stuff about judging, not judging innocence, but you can be passing by somebody and they stare you down. Now in my head, I heard the teacher of, boy, don't be looking me in my face. You know what I mean? Why you looking me in my face? Or you always staring me in my face? Or you staring dead in my mouth? All of these things that I've accumulated and heard to make sure that I'm not being a person doing these things that day, right? So when I see these things, these are the reins that are going on in my brain, right? So I'm observing and I'm just looking like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. But yeah, so I was saying that because shoot, I just got a text and I lost my point, but I didn't lose my point because I'm gonna find it. I was saying that because teachers be judging teachers be judging the child's innocence and be like, why you staring? Yeah, so I was saying how humans are basically racist towards each other because like we like to observe, but we don't like to be caught observing. You know what I mean? Like a very contradicting thing. And like all of these, like that's why these videos kind of be like my interpretation based off observations, and not like me trying to stamp anything, because I'm just observing these things, and as I be saying these things, you kind of just conclude and fathom that it's nothing that you can do about it. You know what I mean? It's just like simple cycles of life. Like it's human nature. Like I've learned the thing that I'm talking about, and it can be a perceived problem so quickly. Like why they staring at me, or why they acting like that? Well, like, I can be walking, right? Me and the body going like this. But if me and these body, excuse my ash hands, but if